Good afternoon. In today's video, I wanted to share with you my root over rock. I took a pine that I dug up in kind of the edge of my property. It's a loblolly pine. They are all over Alabama here, and I don't think they're typically done in bonsai because they have really long needles, but you can trim them off with the scissors and kind of give them the short needle look. But I planted it on a rock. I think typically in bonsai you do not see a pine on a root over rock. So I was looking at it the other day and I noticed that the wire was digging in. So I wanted to take the opportunity to kind of take a look at this tree and see if we can maybe redo the wire on the rock with the roots, and see if we can get it to kind of maybe stick above the pot a little bit to get it in a better position and let it grow for another year, and we'll check in on it next year. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Again, if you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. Love all the comments and the activity we've gotten recently. It's been great. So now we'll get into it. The tools that we're going to be using in today's video is we have bonsai wire, which we'll use to wire the branches into place, and also wire the roots to the rock so that the roots adhere to the rock. We have some wire cutters, some gin pliers, concave pruners, scissors to trim the roots. We have a toothbrush to clean the rock and the roots that are going to be above the soil in the pot, a chopstick, a scoop for the soil, and a lazy Susan to help see all angles of the tree. These tools are not required for working with bonsai. The big thing that's important to have is sharp cutting utensils, whether that be scissors or pruners of some sort, as long as they are sharp to give you the clean cuts you need. So here is the pine that we're going to be looking at today. This is a native species of Alabama. It is a loblolly pine. Here's a picture of it kind of full grown. But this one I dug up, I think maybe a year or two ago. I think it might have been 2 years ago I dug it up. As I was getting into bonsai, I was just kind of grabbing anything that looked interesting. And so I don't have many pines in my collection. This is actually maybe one of two, three maybe I have. So I didn't know what to do with it. As you can see, I have some kind of wire where I've pulled it, kind of give it the kind of this S curve kind of look to it. I'm thinking this, once we get the rock up, I haven't decided what a good front will be. I kind of like this aspect of it just because of how the root structure here is. Let's get in a little bit closer here, kind of let you see these roots. So you can see kind of the roots here, and we have the rock peeking out right there. But as you can see, the wire is, I think especially back here, you can see where it's kind of cutting in just a little bit, and so I wanted to be able to kind of take this out of the pot and be able to see how it's doing. So we'll get into that, and I may do some trimming of the branches, some of the needles, trim back the needles. I may wire some of these branches into place, kind of give it a better design. But I think for now this is a good front, but we'll see once we get the tree out of the pot. Okay, so let's begin taking the tree out of the pot here. We're going to begin by kind of cutting these little guide wires that I put on last year. Yeah, it bounced back up. We may do a new wire job on that, put a new guide wire on it and everything. We filled the pot with roots. It's definitely doing really well. I want to reuse this wire for it, so I want to try to preserve the wire. This looks like it's grasped the rock really well. As you can see in here, I think I'm only going to remove a portion of the wire, not all of it. Okay, so that was one wire. Alright, so you can see how, yeah, it's not fused to the rock yet, but it is biting in. So I want to remove the wire that's kind of biting in across the top here, and then we'll add the wire back on, and we'll wrap all of these roots back around the rock here. So yeah, it was biting in across the top there, so we'll take it down and bring it around. And we have it wrapped around here to the back. That looks really good. Right there. I'll probably bring a wire up to go across here to make sure that these continue holding onto the rock. So we'll actually come around like this to hold those onto the rock, like so. Go kind of like that. I think when I plant this again, we're gonna have about this much of it sticking up out of the pot this time. So we'll go ahead and cut this off right here. Don't need all of that wire. We'll just make sure it's tight. Pull that tight. That. Alright, so we got these that around the back here that are gonna get kind of connected there. Alright, let's get this back in the pot. Okay, so the soil we're going to be using today is just some pine bark and some kind of larger rock we're going to use to replant this pine in. So set this guy over here. Alright, with it being a root over rock, there's really not a lot of tie-in that we got to do. I think I may trim the roots up just a little bit here to get them down to about right here. So let me get some scissors to cut that. I think that should do it. Set him in here. That. Do a little bit more soil to kind of have the rock above the soil a little bit. There we go. May sink them down just a little bit more. We'll put it, I've got them too a little bit high up. I think we're going to make that the front because that looks the best. She got this big kind of gnarly root right here. Let's get some water on him, and then we'll look at maybe what the top will look like. All right, so as you can see, we have the root structure here. I want to take a brush, try to clean off the soil that's up here at the top. I may try to put some sphagnum moss. You can see how I put some sphagnum moss down here to kind of help it kind of grow and attach to the rock here. I'm going to leave that sphagnum moss in there. I want to get rid of some of this soil and in the cracks and crevices here. Same thing, I put some sphagnum moss right here to help root growth. And probably what I'll do is I'll put some sphagnum moss around this deal and actually put it on the rock as well when we finish, so that we help it adhere and grow more roots from here at the top to then next year be able to take them and move them into the dirt and guide them where we want them. But this is an interesting feature here, this kind of zag that we have here. That wouldn't be bad front if this thickens up. Once this thickens up, but I kind of liking this kind of angle, and we may do is we may try to pick a new apex. We take this guy and make him our new apex, potentially, or this guy. Actually, this guy could be our apex. Get rid of these. So if we're going this way, we could have it bend this way. That will leave us branch here. It's a hard decision. It is a hard decision. We could have this, and these four. There's not a lot of branches on this tree, but I think the overall structure is this right here. So I think we are going to get rid of this. We're going to get rid of this section here. That is a drastic cut. Let's see. If we were here, we're to cover that up. Bring this over. Yeah, again, this tree is fairly young, so I think creating a new apex with this branch right here, kind of bending him up and over, because you have the line of the tree coming out at you and then back, so that gives it a good overall structure. Pull this over here. Yeah, we're gonna do a hard cut. Yeah, this whole section, I believe we're going to take off, bring that down over here. Yeah, this little bud over here acting as a lower branch. Yeah, and by doing this, we're taking the apex here, all the growth that it's pushing towards here get pushed back and put back into these branches, so all this back here will start growing this year. So big cut coming. Like that. Okay. I'm going to cut this back more. That, and we'll put some cut putty on that. Now what we want to do is we want to wire these branches so that we can manipulate them into the position and have them kind of grow and be in the spot that we need them to be for the future design of the tree. So I'm going to start with a larger piece of wire. I think this is a 2mm piece of wire, and we're going to run this up through the top, starting here at the bottom. Oops. Anytime you're wiring, you always want to support the branch as you bring the wire around. As you get closer to the top, you can take gin pliers, and using the support you can be able to twist the wire around the branch to the position you need. And now, still giving it support, gently bend the branch in the direction you would like it. Now I'm going to wire this branch and this branch together. And you typically want to wire two branches together to give them support. And you want to try not to cross wires on the trunk. So I'm going to go from the back here and wrap it around this way to anchor it, and then come around from the bottom and over the top, and again supporting the branch. Out to the end with the wire, like so. Now we'll take this top piece and get support. Try not to get the needles wrapped up in the wire. Pliers, we can around, and then I'm going to bring that up like that. Now this one we will bend, and I go to the back there. Now we want to focus on this branch down here. Now, since I'm really not wiring it to another, I'm going to anchor it by going further up the, actually we'll go down the trunk with it. So we'll start, so you can measure to the end. And so it looks like we should be able to run the wire on the inside. I was right the first time. Outside.